everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Paul Richards here with PTZOptics, joined with Tom Prehn from Wirecast, TeleStream. How you doing today, Tom?
Doing very well, thanks.
Well,
Great
thank you.
weather here.
You guys always have great weather out in California. But I'm happy to hear that. Got the chat room on the side. We got a lot of great people in the chat room today. I think a lot of our viewers are excited to hear about Wirecast 7. If I'm not mistaken, Wirecast hasn't had an update in quite a while. Is that true?
The last update was November of 2014, Wirecast 6. We've had several dot releases since then. And the most recent one added Facebook Live as a destination. But I can talk more about that in a few minutes when we talk about 7.
Cool. And Evelyn's asking about how we display the chat room on the live stream. We're going to have a question and answer at the end of this. We only have 20 minutes. We just have time for a quick interview with Tom, and we'll have a question and answers at the end here. So Tom, you're the senior project manager here at TeleStream. You've been with TeleStream for a while. Explain to us your role before we jump into a bunch of questions that I have for you.
Well, my role has been to take our desktop live streaming technology and apply it to Wirecast, which we've had, which we've published for about 8 years, and also build a family around Wirecast. So we have Wirecast Go, which is an iOS app to live stream directly to YouTube or to an Rtmp site, and it does some production and recording. It's a nice app. Wirecast Cam, which can be a source to Wirecast itself, and there's some other projects on the roadmap, things that we've already gotten started. One project that we finished about a year ago was a project called Game Show, and that's for video game streaming. So the idea of you're putting chat on the screen, that's a very common practice when you're streaming on Twitch, and adding Twitch alerts and all those things that are built into Game Show. It's a little different than Wirecast. They're certainly kissing cousins, but it is a little different because the gaming market gamers are just different kinds of folks, and they have different needs for what they do on Twitch and YouTube gaming and Hitbox and Zubu and sites like that.
Yeah, I'm interested to ask you about Game Show, which I want to do here, and I totally forgot to mention. I wanted to mention our upcoming streams before we jumped fully into. I just a couple quick slides. One is next week we're going to do New Tech Connect Pro app. The following week, which I believe, if I zoom this in a little larger, is July 8th. We'll be doing 100% green live stream because we're 100% solar here. So that'll be fun. Sounds like we've got a caller, which hopefully we'll take that in a little bit. We're going to talk about Wirecast 7, give you guys a cool preview on that. The IP joystick is now here. So for those of you who are waiting for the IP joystick, we now have an IP control system. We have a 2-week demo program, so anyone who's out there looking for a demo of our cameras, we can do that for you for 2 weeks now. And I'm really excited about this 100% green live stream, but that's not till July 8th. So let's dig into our questions. I apologize, I forgot. I should have done that at the beginning. So you're talking about Game Show. I want to get into that, but let's start with Wirecast. And I want to ask you just like, how long has Wirecast been available to the public?
Well, we've published it for 8 years. We acquired it from a company in Great Britain. A couple of guys had developed screencasting and an internet casting production and streaming tools, which we acquired at that point. And we've done a lot of development over the years. It doesn't resemble that project, and it's really developed to meet the needs of what is a tremendously growing marketplace, live streaming. It's last year during 2015, it really hit an inflection point, and everyone seems to be streaming from a high school graduation through a college sports game, through to church services, through to a CEO doing a town hall or an all-hands meeting in their company. Conference, exhibit types of companies use it to stream and record all the sessions at a conference. There are just so many different uses.
There are so many different uses. One of my personal favorites is like what we're doing now, where we're using video conferencing technology inside of the live stream. So now not only are we streaming one way, but as you can all see, all you viewers today, and if you're watching this on demand, don't try this, but you can actually join the live stream right now. You can type in this meeting ID in the zoom.us and join the live stream. So at Infocom, we were showing Wirecast 7, and we were showing how people, 10, 20, 50 people can be in part of a single live stream. And using Wirecast and maybe even Game Show, I think that some of these technologies are all kind of, like you said, kissing sisters or kissing cousins in a way. All this technology, I feel like, is just falling into our laps, faster than we could imagine. So, okay, so it's been around for a while. I think that's an awesome thing. Who are the primary customers of Wirecast?
As I said, it's really a varied audience. I mean, our new tagline for Wirecast 7 is "Tell Your Story Live," and that's really what people are doing. I mean, the addition of Facebook Live has been also another tremendous boost for live streaming, and now brands are using it. Individuals are using it to live stream any of their activities, basically things that you are posting in pictures or in text on Facebook. Now you can post a live video, and if it's 90 minutes or under, it'll be recorded and it'll be within your feed, so people can go back and view it. So it's just a lot of different uses and a lot of different folks.
So it sounds like quite a few people have been joining the live stream. Every time you hear a ding-a-ling like that, that means somebody has joined the live stream.
Okay.
In the Zoom video conference piece of that. So, all right, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, everybody is using it. Every vertical, from home users to gamers to hospitality to enterprise-level companies. I mean, everyone is using it. What's your personal kind of favorite feature about Wirecast?
Well, it's always, I like the production aspects of Wirecast. So my favorite features tend to be in the production area, in the editing. With Wirecast 7, that was a main focus of changing and improving the production and editing aspects of Wirecast. So I'll share my screen in a little bit, and the audience can see some of the changes we made around that. But definitely editing and production.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, I'll prepare I'll prepare for that whenever you're ready. But you're right. I mean, that's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is how easy it is to create. Oh, that was my fault. I meant to do this. There we go. That's Tom's screen. But how easy it is to create just videos. Maybe you don't have to live stream them. Maybe you're just creating videos for YouTube. But using this technology allows you to create really high quality, productions.
Yeah, I mean, it's the production aspect, bringing production to the everyday person, the ability to make a really professional, engaging type of live broadcast as well as recording it. So Wirecast can record it directly locally, or it can be recorded usually through the CDN, the Content Distribution Network. As I mentioned before, Facebook will record it, YouTube will record it, and there's a long list of CDNs that will do that as well as show the live stream. So you can go back, you can edit it if you want to, or you can have the people in the moment watching it live. So maybe we should talk a little bit about Wirecast 7. I think that would be kind of fun to do. Notice we've got a new logo, by the way, with just the feet of myself and my grandson there underneath the window.
Picture.
So we've tackled a lot of issues with Wirecast 7 to really improve it. The first thing you see, so this is the splash screen at startup of Wirecast 7. It's different than Wirecast 6. You get what is basically an HTML page here, and we'll be changing this as time goes on, tips and tricks.
Cool.
Some other things, maybe some articles, maybe some, if on a dot release, there might be release notes here before you even get into the program. So there's a lot we can do with this little HTML window here within Wirecast 7. The why this is possible in Wirecast 7 is that we've built it on Chromium Embedded Framework, so it's CEF, basically a Chrome browser, can be and is integrated into Wirecast. So once you get into bringing sources in, you can bring in any type of web display you want to, as well as in this case, I'm showing you a web page from our internal feed that is showing new features in Wirecast 7.
Yeah, and
So,
I think that answers Evelyn's question of how to you just bring in a web page if you want to show the chat room as a source, and then you can just overlay that on your live stream.
It's easy to do. It's easy to bring in all these things to really make a professional broadcast, webcast. In talking more about 7, I think the users of 7 and the new audience that's coming to Wirecast will really appreciate better and faster performance that we have in Wirecast 7. We've included GPU acceleration on both Mac and Windows. So it utilizes the Intel chips on both platforms, and on Windows, if you have an NVIDIA card, it will take advantage of the hardware encoder on the NVIDIA card. So that is really makes for tremendous performance gains. CPU utilization is down in the 15 to 20%, 10% range, depending on how complex your stream is. And in Wirecast 6, it might be 40, 50, 60%. So we've more than cut it in half. And it's I think users will really enjoy that improvement of Wirecast. Another feature, and I mentioned before how I enjoy doing editing. We've added, and I'll show you in a second, a dynamic editor, much different than Wirecast 6. Output statistics. I'm not going to be streaming, but I'll show you what the graphs are that come up under output statistics, and you're able to really monitor graphically and second by second if you want to. You can set the time limit, whether it's 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds for taking pictures of the system. But framework, system CPU, system memory, all of those good things are shown to you graphically, so you can tell what's going on with your system. Another interesting thing shown there is Rtmp queuing. So there's always questions about, gee, it's not showing up very well to the end user, to the end viewer, I should say, and it's not clear if it's your connection or if it's the CDN you're using or if it's something in Wirecast. With an Rtmp queuing, you can see the stacking up of the bits and packets that are going out to the CDN. So if you're having a lot of backup there, you can conclude there's a problem on the CDN side.
Wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's just a nice little thing to add to usefulness within Wirecast 7. Video and audio sync. If you have AV syncing problems, you can delay the video, the audio, and you can also delay your stream. So there's lots of flexibility there. We've also added a global hotkey manager, so you can set up any combination of keys to run, common types of functions that you use within Wirecast. We've only had 10 keys to map with Wirecast 6, and it's basically unlimited with the Hotkey Manager. Any combination of keys will help. We've added a new audio mixer that I'll show you. Here's an interesting feature, ISO recording. What that means is isolated recording of all your your sources, whether they're audio or cameras. Wow. So you'll be able to, a great sports type of use case is you're recording each camera separately, and you can replay any camera separately. So if you see those on a pro or college football game, you see the constant replaying of, did his knee touch, or did the ball get over the end line, that sort of thing. So you can pick the camera that gives you the best view of that. We have some cool ways to configure text through RSS feed, live text, or just grabbing it file. Another thing that we've been asked for is color correction, which we've added to Wirecast 7. So let me open up 7 so you can see some of these things in action. I'll keep it short and simple so that we stay within your time frame. And within the next week or so, Wirecast 7 will be coming out, so the viewers will have a chance to download it then. I mentioned dynamic editing, so let me just take my FaceTime camera here and put it up, and you get so what you saw there was a flyout panel. Unlike double windows and going to some sort of obtuse, and I'll admit that, some obtuse types of tabs, it's much easier now in 7 because you can just open up this flyout editor. Now you'll also see what happened over on the right side here, that the live window shrunk. So you can monitor what your program out is while you're doing major editing within the preview screen. So I don't have anything live yet. I'm just editing. And I can add lots of different sources now, even more than we've had before. If people are familiar with local desktop presenter, it's now called screen capture. So you can capture your entire display, a particular application window, or a game, a video game. Web stream, that's taking in any IP stream, anything on the network with an IP address can be brought in. Wirecast Cam is our iOS app. We've long been integrated with New Blue Titler, which gives you lots of cool titling options, 3D animation that extends our own titling system quite a bit. With Wirecast 7, by the way, and it's a sneak peek here, you'll get New Blue Live Titler Express as part of the download. So you'll get a $99 value for free.
What is the cost of the upgrade?
Studio and $299 for Wirecast Pro users.
Okay, so how much was it for the Studio users? You were cutting out a little bit there.
$179.
$179 for Studio, right. And $199 for the Pro users.
$299.
$299 for the Pro users. Okay, so that's not too bad at all. So Tom, we're not going to have a time for a full demo. I wish we did. So let's go back to your main camera feed, and I'm going to quickly. I really wanted to show this other part of Wirecast here, and that would be, here it is. Here, why isn't that going there? There we go. So I've got this part of Wirecast up here. Sorry about that. Just need to get rid of this. And what I'm showing here, and this is Wirecast 6. I'm assuming, Tom, it's going to be very similar in Wirecast 7. But what we're showing here is the ability to actually bring in cameras over the network. Now, I'm going to go all the way back to right about here. So as you can see, and this is just an important part that I wanted to show. See, under sources here, you can go to show source settings, and you can actually have web sources. And one of the nice things about PTZOptics is that our cameras will show up as a web source. So you can actually pull in any PTZOptics camera right over the network. You don't need to bring in a direct USB connection, although that is easy, or HDSDI or HDMI. You can do it all over IP streaming, and the latency is very low, especially if you're setting up your own dedicated network, which is the best way to eliminate all latency. So as you can see here, we're just adding a few shots to the live stream there, to Wirecast, and we're doing it all right over the network. And what Andy Chatfield, our support technician, is showing here is that there's a really nice little companion app that's completely free called the ONVIF Device Manager. And you can use that side by side to Wirecast and actually pan, tilt, and zoom cameras all over the network. So not only can you pull in our cameras into Wirecast over IP, but you can control them over IP as well. And I just feel like that's something where, I mean, I don't know what you think, Tom, but I feel like a lot of stuff is going that way to the network. And everyone, I've talked to so many Wirecast customers say, look, we just want to run a network connection to the cameras. We don't want anything else to deal with. And I understand the reasons for that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it so much easier. There's a new technology that's coming out that will be implemented in Wirecast, and that release coming up called NDI, and it's a device interface that will allow the rapid transmission of video around a network. So as you know, video files are very big, but NDI allows you to move video quickly across the network. So you'll be able to control Wirecast from another computer, for example. Right now, using New Blue Titler with Wirecast, you'll be able to set it up so that in a sports situation, again, seems like I'm using sports examples today. So in a sports example, you can use NDI to run a scoreboard on one computer, and you can be switching on another computer. And that when you change the scoreboard, the clock, the whatever you're doing on the scoreboard, it will immediately display in the stream. And you can switch to that. You can keep it as a bug in the corner, whatever you want to do. So it really provides a lot of flexibility. So yes, network utilization for Wirecast is really expanding, and it's a very popular option.
Wow, I had no idea you guys were already working on NDI. It's something that I've talked to Stephen Hayward about regularly. Sounds like he bent your ear a little bit, but that is great to hear because we're actually working on NDI as well. We don't have a specific release date to when it will be 100% built into our cameras, but it's the future, and I promise, I've made a million promises, but I'm in sales, of course, that we are going to have it built into our cameras. We have engineers in China working on building it into the chipsets of our next generation of our cameras. So, NDI, I'm guessing, so that means that at one point, now today with PTZOptics cameras, plop them on your network, and Wirecast can find them immediately, just like that. And the latency with ONVIF is extremely low. It's not bad at all. Now, apparently, NDI is going to be faster and even better. So we've got solutions today, and tomorrow, when you guys come out with NDI, when we come out with NDI, that's going to be even better. Wow.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of option for control in lots of different scenarios, whether you're controlling cameras, whether you're running a scoreboard, as I mentioned, or whether you're creating lower thirds on the fly on another computer and showing them on your stream. And while you're switching, so if I was switching, somebody else would be able to create a new lower third. Maybe there's a new unexpected speaker who's come on the show that can create that real quickly. So, and as you mentioned, cameras are really becoming the major use through the networks on Wirecast.
Although there are no NDI compatible cameras at this point. Now, it's funny that you mentioned that, though, because next Friday we are going to be going over the New Tech Connect Pro app, which what that app does is it takes an RTSP stream and makes it NDI source. It doesn't remove the latency inherent in in RTSP, but we've found that our cameras have H.265, and using that RTSP protocol with the New Tech Connect Pro app, there's fairly low latency, especially on a dedicated network that's uncongested. So with that app that New Tech is charging for, today, the cameras could be NDI compatible in that sense, not directly compatible without that app, but everything's moving forward. We're already over time, but I think it's been a really worthwhile conversation. I have a couple questions. I think nobody really minds if we go over a little bit here.
Sure.
How is Wirecast 7 going to change an existing Wirecast user's workflow? How is it going to change and improve things? I think you kind of mentioned that, but I wanted to make sure I asked that question for Will Brown, your business development officer over there at TeleStream.
Well, I mentioned the editing piece there.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go through all the tabs at the top, but there's a great deal of manipulation that you can do with any source. So as users know, there's 5 master layers below the preview and live window that you can still, you're still able to layer shots on different layers. You can create a playlist which won't change. But the whole idea of being able to really control every source and put virtually unlimited sources in one shot, of course, that would look pretty cluttered, but it does give you the idea that you can add a lot of sources. You can manipulate each source. You can click on a couple sources and move them around individually from the other sources. So the workflow, I think, in general, becomes much more easy to be able to do that. You have a lot of control over text and fonts and sizes and colors. And you have a lot of control over, the IP discovered devices. You have control over color now, which you didn't have before. So those workflows are just becoming much easier.
So how about this, Tom? I think we still have a lot to talk about, and we've already gone almost to a half hour. So why don't we? I'm going to roll the credits. This show will be what it is, and then me and you will stay on live with everybody and have a little post-show and answer any questions that people have.
Sure, that'd be fine.
All right, so we'll see you all in about 30 seconds. We're just going to run the credits, and we'll talk to you soon.